Rich Tehrani with TMC here. Thanks for watching. We're at Interop 2013. I'm speaking with Pete from ProfitBricks. Pete, how are you?
We're doing great today. Thanks for coming by.
So tell me, it starts at the top. Your company's relatively new. Tell me a little bit about it.
So we bill ourselves as Cloud Computing 2.0. The idea there being that the first generation of public cloud providers came through and established the market with one set of technologies. We're bringing a different set of technologies, borrowing some networking ideas from the supercomputing community to public cloud in a way that gives us a value-added feature set that other guys don't have.
Okay, supercomputing in the public cloud, very exciting. How does that work?
Well, for us, the key piece is in InfiniBand networking. So what a lot of people don't know is InfiniBand is a networking technology that comes from supercomputing, where standard Ethernet will run at 1 gigabit per second in terms of capacity. A really good one will run at 10. We run dual channel InfiniBand, which runs 80 gigabits per second. And we don't just make fast network connections between our virtual machines for that. We use it to enable value-added services for our customers like flexible VM sizing, the ability to change a VM while it's running and add CPUs or RAM to an existing VM without having to reboot it, and dedicating CPU cores so you get better and more consistent performance out of those VMs.
And so part of that is because you can copy these sessions so quickly, right?
We can, yeah. We use the InfiniBand networking as an enabler for our technology, where we're able to, in our hypervisor, we use KVM as a hypervisor, but we've customized it in a way that allows us to move VMs from one physical server to another, fast enough that the VMs don't know they've been moved. So when you play that game of Tetris of stacking VMs on top of physicals, we can move our pieces and our competition can't. And because we have that flexibility on the back end, we pass that flexibility on to our customers on the front end in the form of customizable cores. So you can tell us what size VM you want, from 1 to 62 cores, or from 1 to 240 gigabytes of RAM, and anything in between.
So really it has to do with timing to some degree. Like if we look at when Google came into the search game, they came at it from a different angle. They used low-cost PCs, and they were able to ramp that up quickly, and they had a lower cost advantage over Yahoo that was using these very expensive SunSpark servers. And so really what you've done is you've leveraged the timing of InfiniBand with the launch of your company to kind of leapfrog to and that's the 2.0 designation. And the question then I have to ask is, what happens when the other people catch up? Can they catch up? Will they catch up?
Sure. So that's an analogy we make all the time, actually, is in 1999 we all thought that internet search was solved with tools like AltaVista or Ask Jeeves. But that's not the verb we use today to describe how you go search for somebody. I might Google you later, right? Google came along with a second generation, better way of solving that technology problem, and we think we're seeing the same thing here with the public cloud, where the Amazons and the Rackspaces of the world have come along with the first generation, and now we're using this supercomputing technology to enable a better and more flexible solution than what they offer. Now, we didn't just pull this out of a box. This took us 2 to 3 years of R&D to come up with this solution to utilize InfiniBand in the way that we do. So we have that lead in terms of if someone else wanted to try to copy what we've done, it's just not a simple matter of throwing a bunch of hardware out on an InfiniBand mesh. There's some real solid engineering behind this as well that gives us those value-added features.
And it's worth just reminding the audience that the drive for more bandwidth, or the need for more bandwidth, is not going away. Another trend of the show is 802.11.AC, if I'm not blanking out on the right term. I think that's the up to 1 gigabit per second wireless standard, right. Which means that over time we're going to see more and more of the wireless devices that we have streaming massive amounts, or just sucking down massive amounts of data, which means more stress on clouds.
Absolutely. And for example, like a big data play is something that suits really well for what we have, because of those dedicated...
Right, another hot trend.
Yeah, so because of those dedicated CPU cores that you get, so when you launch a VM and it's got 4 CPU cores, you get exclusive use of those cores. We're not over provisioning that and letting someone else with like clock cycles use that. You get exclusive use of that. So in a Hadoop scenario, not only will those end nodes perform more quickly, but because then you're doing map and reduce steps of sending all that data back and forth between the nodes over InfiniBand network, it'll run much more quickly than it will on other public clouds.
Any other advantages you have over competitors? Like, how do you do your pricing?
So pricing because the economics on our side, we're able to get better efficiencies out of our physical hardware because we can move our pieces around. As you're kind of playing that game of Tetris, we can move our pieces in the ways that our competitors can't. So we're able to be price competitive because we actually need less hardware to serve up the same amount of VMs. So that's how we're able to be price competitive with those guys. We have the flexibility, the better and more consistent performance, and as you can see, this isn't a diagram of a machine architecture, this is what our UI looks like. So you drag and drop things out on a pallet and wire them together in a way that looks very much like Visio, so you can visually see what your machine layout looks like.
Now what about the actual billing for the time?
Yeah, and another flexibility angle for us is we do per minute billing. So we don't think that if you've got a bursty workload like a test dev kind of scenario, if you need a server for 62 minutes, we don't think you should have to pay for 120. Most of the other cloud providers out there will bill you by the minute or by the hour, and we bill by the minute. So it's another degree of flexibility we give you, along with choosing different VM sizes to your custom needs at launch time and being able to change them during runtime as your system gets different load on it.
Excellent, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.